Hello and welcome to MATLAB course. This is Salim. In this video I am going to talk about import data from Excel file and text file to MATLAB using code. In the previous video we learned how to do that automatically using import data tools. But today we are going to use the Readmatrix function. Let's start. So the Readmatrix function is used to import the data from Excel or a text file, and we have two general forms. The first one is, for example, here we have x equal Readmatrix, and then inside that we put the file name. And the data inside this file name will be stored in this x. So x is kind of a matrix or a vector based on the type of the data inside that file will store the data. And sometimes we use the other form, which is x equal to Readmatrix, and then the file name, and then property name and property value. Why do you need property name and property value, and what kind of file name we are using? Let's know. Regarding the file name, so the file name could be Excel file with extension .xlsx or xls, or CSV file, or tab limited with the extension .txt. And just we need to write the file name with the extension in case that the file we need to read in the current folder. But if we need to read the file from any other place, we need to write the full path to this folder. Like for example, C and then my folder and then the file name with the extension. And regarding the property name and property value, for example, if we have this data and we have in the first row, we have the header, and like for the first column, we have the weeks, and then the other data is a student grade. And sometimes we don't need to read all the data. We just need to read certain range, this highlight range. So we need to use the range between quotation, comma, and then specify the corner one, which is the top left corner, and corner 2, which is the lower right corner. And the other option is sometimes when we read the Excel file, sometimes we have two or several spreadsheets. So we need to specify which spreadsheet we are going to read. So we are going to mention the sheet and then the spreadsheet name. So in that sense, we can specify in the first one or then second one, etc. Let's take example to understand that. In the first example, we need to read from attached CSV file with the name grade_only.csv file. And in this file, they have the grade of 4 students in 10 weeks. Like this is the file. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. So we have 10 weeks and every column represents 1 student. The problem with a file without any headers like the text to show, it's difficult to know without someone explaining for us. So in the next example, we are going to check what is the case if we have the header. And the requirement, we need to import the student grade, the student grade for 10 weeks and 4 students with the matrix name is grades. And of course, we have some missing data highlighted here in purple. So we need to replace this like missing data with 0, because when we import the data, all the missing data will be highlighted using none. So let's go to like MATLAB and check how to do that. This is MATLAB, and let me open the live script which having the problem so we can check the problem and then solve the problem at the same time. Let me open, and the live script is here. And I don't need the command window and the workspace. I will minimize. So we have here this question. And if I check the folder which containing the grade only, so the current folder here, so if I go to like the C, of course, user Salim download. So if I just click the download folder here, I can, this is the place which is like the C user Salim download. And in this place, I can see several files, including this file, which is the grade_only. If I double click, to open in Excel. So if I just double click, it will open in Excel. And we can check, this is the folder we have, and we have 2 missing data here. And if I just close the Excel and make right click and then open with, we can have Notepad or WordPad or just using the Notepad++. This is free software, just download and use it. If I just open, I can check the data, which is 7, 8, 6, 9, and every data is separated using comma because CSV is a comma delimited file. Okay, let's go to, this is MATLAB. So we need to read the file. To read using the Readmatrix command, so we are going to say just grade is equal to, and then read matrix, and then just quotation to the place where is the file. If you check here, MATLAB is proposing, so he checked all the file inside this current folder and he proposed these files. So he say that you have here the grade underscore CSV file, and you have the grade underscore Excel, and you have grade only, and you have the tab delimited, and you have the other folder. So MATLAB is proposing the file names including in that current folder directory. So I can select the grade only. So here's the folder name. It is just now loaded. If I just run the section, so now we can check that here's the file name, and we have the two missing data have nan. So we have nan here and nan here. So we import the data, and we can check that the size is 10 rows, which is 10 weeks, and 4 columns is a 4 student. So we successfully import the student, but we need to replace the missing data with 0. Let me teach you something. For example, this grade now is a matrix, and we need to know where is the nan value, where is the position for nan value. And to do though, we can use the function called isNan. IsNan is a function if we write inside a matrix, which is, for example, in our case, grade, and then run this section. So it will give us kind of a logical array. Like 0, it represents non-nan, and 1 for nan value only. So we can check in the first row, second column, we have 1, and here in the last row or the fourth row and the 7 columns or 8 column, we have here 1. So in these two places we have none. So we need to replace them. So isNan is used to locate the places where is the zeros or none value. So in that sense, we can, inside this comment, we can just say that this is, we know that where is nan, and we need to know that we can say that the grades of, so this is grades, sorry, with S. So this is the matrix grade, and inside that matrix grade, any grade which is nan, we are going to replace with 0. So we are going to say equal and then 0. So if we press enter, we can check now. It's just running, still running. And if we check now, all the nan value here converted to 0. So the second, the first row, second column, and also like the fourth column and the 8 rows here is converted to 0. So by this way, just using the matrix name and then use isNan, and inside that the matrix name again, and then say equal 0. For example, if I need to make it -1, if I just run the section, it will replace all the missing value with -1. But the question here just replace with 0, so just put 0 and run the section, it will be replaced to 0. This was the first question. Let's take the second question. So in the second question, we have attached Excel file named grade_Excel with Xlsread extension. If we go to that folder here in download, and we can find here the grade_Excel. If I double click, I can find here, this is the file. We have here to work like the spreadsheet. 2 sheets. So the first one is week_grades, and the second one is selected_grades. So in the first one, which is week_grade, we have here the weeks with 10 weeks, and we have 4 student grade. And the advantage, now we have the header, so we can know where is the place we need to read. Okay, now we understand the file. So if we check the question here, They mentioned that in this file, we have the two spreadsheet as we check. The first one is week underscore grades spreadsheet, and second one is selected grades. And the required is we need to import the week column from the weeks underscore grade spreadsheet as a column vector with name weeks. If we check this image here just to check, so we have here the week underscore grades spreadsheet, and inside that the first column is called week, so we need this week column and we need to call as a week vector. It will be week. And the second requirement is import the student grade. These are the student grade, this range, from the week's grade spreadsheet, this place. And then put all the student grade in a matrix named grades, and then replace any missing data with 0. Okay, we understand that. So we need to take this green area and name it as a grade under the matrix. And then the third one is count how many times a student got a full mark. So if we check here, some students have the full mark is 10. So some students have 10. For example, here 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. This is 6 times. So we need to know how many students do that. But to do that, we don't need to just check by our eyes. We need to do that. And the best way to do that is to do 4 loops. And because this is matrix with 2D dimensions, so we are going to do 2 for loops, the first for rows and second for columns, and then check every element. If the value for that matrix equal to 10, in that sense, this means full mark, so we need to increase the count. So we need to reset the count to 0, and every time this, like the condition happened, we need to increase the count by 1. Okay, let's do that. So in the first part, we need to import this purple color. So what we need is just to write, so for example, week, which is equal to, and then read matrix. And inside the read matrix, we need to put a file. And here MATLAB proposed all the file, and we need to go here, which is the grade underscore Excel, double click, and then comma, and we need to take some option. The first option is we need to put the sheet. And inside the sheet, I will say, so once I put the sheet, please check, MATLAB also check the file you pointed, and he gave us 2. So he said we have the week underscore grade and we have selected grade. We need just to take week underscore grade. And then, comma, and then we need to, in that part, we need to select the range, because in the first column here, we have the word week we don't need to include. So we need to take, started from A2 to A11. So we need to select the range. So we can say here that the range, and then we said comma, and the range will be from A2 to A11. If I just run the section, I can check that the week is from 1 to 10. So we successfully finished the first one. And the second one is grades, which is the student grades. And we are going to put the same, which is read matrix. And then inside the read matrix, we are going to put the file name, which is like the grade Excel. And then we are going to specify the sheet. So we are going to write the sheet here. Sheet. And inside the sheet, we are going to select the sheet, which is the week grade sheet. And then we are going to mention the range. So range, MATLAB is completing for me, just press tab. And then which range, if we check here, we need from B2, which is starting from this 7, to E11, which is at this 6. So the range is from B2 to E11. If I just run the section, now we have this 10 rows, 4 columns, and we have 2 nan value here. We need to replace the nan, so the easiest way is just to say grades, and then open parentheses. Inside that I will write is nan, and from is nan we are going to put grade again, and this grades inside is nan with no where is the nan, and then we are going to say this is nan will be replaced with 0. If I just run the section now, it will be here replace the nan with 0 and 0. Now we finished the two part, and the third part, count how many times the student got the full mark 10. In that sense, we need to count, so we need to put a counter. So I can say the counter for us to student who got 10 equal to 0. So this is kind of the place we are going to add or keep the student who got 10. And then we need to make for loops for row and column. So we are going to make for I1 equal to number of rows is 10. So from 1 to 10. And then we are going to make for loop with I2 equal to, we have 4 columns, so from 1 to 4, and press enter. And inside this for loop, so I will loop for every student here, every grade for every student in 10 weeks. So here, and check every time if the grade equal 10. So I should say if the grade of the student, but I should specify this grades. If the grade of the student in this position, like for example, first row, first column, first row, second column, etc. So it should be I1, I2, and then the condition is equal to, and then equal to. What will happen if the condition achieved and the mark equal 10? I will say that the counter, which is the counter underscore 10, will increase by 1. So it will be the previous value, the counter underscore 10, and then we add one more value. This will happen, and just put the semicolon here, and just put the semicolon here, or just leave it until we check first. Then run the code. If we run the code, we will check that starting for the counter was 0, and then increase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have actually 6 value. If we need to improve our code, this is the extra. So just put semicolon, and then semicolon to suppress, and only display the last value. So display, and then this is counter underscore 10. And if we run the section again, we will have only 6 students who got the full mark for that. So for today, what we learn is the read matrix, and read matrix has a twofold. The first one is read matrix only with the file name, so just put the file name. And if you need to select the range or put some specification like the range or the sheet, of course you can do that part. But let me emphasize one last thing. In the Excel sheet, if we have a multiple sheet, if the data we need to import from the first sheet, we don't need to write the first sheet. For example, here, if we say the grade of the student, if we remove this part, which is the sheet, which is the week underscore 1, if I just delete it, and for example, let me clear the output so that we can see the variables, and then run this section, you can check here when we run the section that we have the same result and same output. The reason is this is automatically he extracted the data from the first sheet if you didn't mention. But for example, if I need to go to, for example, the second sheet with the selected grade sheet, in that sense, I should specify which sheet, because in that sense, if I didn't mention, it will go to the second one. For example, here we can see this is selected grade. So if I need to check, for example, like grade underscore 2, which is equal to read matrix, and then I will specify the file, which is this file, grade underscore for Excel, comma, and this time I will specify the sheet, which is in this time the selected grade. And if I just run the section now, I can check that because we mentioned the sheet number 2 here, it takes like the student in the sheet number 2. If I just remove this part, which is the sheet part, if I just remove and then run the section, it will consider only the first sheet, like the data in the first sheet, because you didn't mention. And the second important thing is, if you check here, even if we didn't mention the range, so he could extract only the data. He neglected the first row because he, in the read matrix, is just importing the data, the numeric data. So it skipped the first row because they have the text. But here, because we didn't mention the range, so he add the weeks from 1 to 10 with the student grade. So the advantage of the range is we can separate it, for example, the weeks, which is type of data, with the grade of student, which is another type of data. That's all for that video. Thank you. Bye-bye.